All right, so Justin, unfortunately, I feel like every time you show up, it's like watching Anderson Cooper show up to your town with his black vest. Something either terrible has happened or is about to happen to your hometown. And in this case, something
Uh,
terrible has happened with Duke again in the first 3 minutes of the game. Marquise goes
yes,
down. What can you tell us
yes.
about the injury and the timetable
Uh,
for return?
so, oh, yeah, not a pretty fall. As you saw, he was visibly in a lot of pain and struggled to get up after that one. And from an on-field acute medical standpoint, those are some of the injuries that scare us the most because we couldn't tell what was happening when his foot hit that stanchion and what happened to his knee. All you just saw was he went down and he wasn't getting up. But when they took him back, diagnosed with an MCL sprain, so similar to the Zion injury. However, the grade of that injury was and is still unknown, but they've already ruled him out for the ACC, which was 100% expected. I wouldn't expect him back prior to the first weekend, maybe the second weekend, probably
Sweet
is more
16.
realistic. Yeah, that's probably more realistic. Again, every player is going to respond to these types of injuries differently. Biology is going to occur at a different rate in terms of tissue healing. But again, we don't know the severity of the injury currently, based on what's been.
Got it. And then, so real quick, you mentioned last time. So props to you again, because you said, I don't expect Zion to play for this UNC game. He did not. You wanted to give him the extra 10 days of rest, essentially between Wake Forest and the ACC tournament, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
play, which is exactly what they did. So it was the right call again. And you mentioned there were 4 phases that the Duke program goes through. Can you just real quick for the viewers, what's each phase and what do they entail?
So of course, each school kind of has a little bit of a different protocol, and so I don't know exactly what their protocol entails with each step, but generally phase one or one of the is all about pain, swelling management, and ensuring that the athlete normal function, normal walking, adequate knee range of motion, and then you progress from there into phase two, where you start a little bit more making sure that they can squat, deadlift, do single leg tasks, lunge, you name it. And then move into /4, which is when you start doing more sport specific movements. We start adding side to side, then you start adding rotational movements and pivoting over that leg, different hopping tasks. And so for him, probably phase 4 looks like it's true sport specific. They probably have been doing one-on-one drills with him on the court versus the medical staff or versus the assistant coaches initiating contact to get him back into it a little bit more in a very controlled. And now I believe I saw it reported on ESPN he was about to participate in his first 5-on-5 live game either today or tomorrow. And so that would be more of the unpredictable contact. And so as long as he does in that and there's no setbacks, he more than would be back on Thursday against whoever.
Right. All right, and we are going to transition straight into the looking forward for Thursday. Eric,
I did have one follow-up question for Justin because I was kind of curious about this. I know last time we talked about like when Trey Jones kind of like got injured and like we talked about like what happens kind of when he gets taken off behind the scenes. How does that differ when it's at like an opponent's arena? Like, is there different stuff that they're able to use and stuff like that?
So they each obviously each arena is going to be set up a little bit differently, but they should be able to that athlete back into their own locker room. So they would Duke would be going into the visitors' locker room at that point. Teams would have brought all of their equipment that is necessary, but there's just at the highest levels, although I have not been at that high of a level, but I imagine there's some mutual respect and mutual help amongst the medical staff, so that if a player is injured enough, the other team's going to help and provide that. When I cover our rugby guys at OSU, whenever another team's guy goes down, we offer whatever resources that we physically can at that time to help them out as well, even if they have medical coverage on.
Got it.
Okay. Thanks, Justin.